Welcome back to the Build and Invest Show. Today, I'm going to be talking about a very important topic. If you're paying any attention, you have heard the words AI agent, but you may not fully understand what this means. I've been posting about it over the past couple weeks, and people are asking me for more information. So I figured let's make a video explaining everything we can about what AI agents are, what they're going to do, why they're important to you if you're a person that has a job, if you're a person that has a business, if you're a person that invests, and that's who we speak to. So I really want to make sure you're taking advantage of these because this is like catching Bitcoin when it was $1. AI agents have just arrived. Everybody spoke about them for years, but within the last 30, 60 days, they have exploded onto the scene. Many business owners, hundreds of thousands of business owners, investors, have started building them. And there's all kind of efforts from all different business types to allow their businesses to be seen by AI agents because they will be the biggest customer base of the future. Stick to this episode and you will understand why. Okay, so let's start out by telling you why it's important to understand what AI agents are and what are they, right? So every now and then there's a big shift in technology and most people see it by the time it's already very popular, and a lot of people feel like they missed the boat, like I just explained with Bitcoin and even the internet. I'm young enough to have seen both those things and participated in them very differently. When the internet came along, I was just coming out of college basically, and I realized this is a huge deal. Like I need to learn how to work in the internet world, and I'm going to learn how to code so I can be in the internet. Whatever this is, I'm out of school. I didn't know anything about business, anything about life. I'm just thinking, whatever this is the future. I just need to be a part of it. And the way people are a part of it, from my knowledge, is knowing how to code helps you build things for the internet. So that's what I did. I learned how to code, and I got jobs building websites, making advertisement in the online era. When Bitcoin came along, though, I didn't pay attention enough. I didn't understand enough about finance to understand what Bitcoin was. And it was a huge mistake. Someone showed me Bitcoin was 30 cents, but I didn't have the understanding of investments and how money worked to take advantage. I could have just put $100. I would have been multimillionaire, but I just didn't get it, and I didn't spend any time trying to get it, and it cost me millions of dollars, right? So this, I think, is a moment. This is one of those moments. So after you watch this, ask ChatGPT, ask Claude, ask Google about this topic and how it could help you. So what is an AI agent? An AI agent is pretty much a software employee, and they are made by people to solve goals. So the difference between a chat and an agent, a chatbot and an agent is, a chatbot is you go into ChatGPT, you ask it questions, or you talk to it, it talks back. And this is amazing because you're able to now have conversations or back and forths with something that's generally more intelligent than most humans on Earth. That's why I think we're past AGI, but that's a whole nother topic. You can ask ChatGPT about physics, math, science, business, any industry, and it's going to give you an answer that's up there with professionals in that arena. And that's game changing, right? So you can literally, I say this all the time, the chatbots are genies. You can ask unlimited wishes, but you got to know what to ask for, because if you don't understand what to ask for, you're missing out on the power. And that's the trick, starting to figure out what to ask for. And a lot of times I'll ask my chatbots, what am I not asking that I should be asking? That's a nugget right there to use when you're using these products. So a chat basically is going to give you information back and forth. It will help you think. I use it as a thought partner. An agent, though, is an action taker. It's not just a thought partner. It can do things on your behalf. And the reason it's such a big deal, and it will be the biggest opportunity, I think, in the next 5-10 years is, think about it like this. If you could have an assistant that will help you anytime you go to buy something, you would have this assistant find you the best price, negotiate the best price, figure out what's the best option, buy it for you, and if another option comes along that's better, it will change your subscription or whatever it is and buy that version for you, because it's always watching to benefit you based on your goal. So you will give an agent a goal. Get me the best price to go to Miami. Okay. What do you do now? You would go Google flights to Miami. Depending on where you are, those prices are going to be different. If you know what you're doing, you know how to go to different websites, or you'll go to aggregator websites that will show you the prices of many different airlines. This is all something you have to do unless you had an assistant. Rich people, they'll tell their assistant, hey, I'm going to Miami. Book me the best flight. Book me the best hotel. You know what I like. You know where I like to stay. And that assistant will go and do that. That's a human. What an AI agent can do is the same thing, but with much more data, 24/7, much lower cost. And now imagine this for your whole life. Imagine you had an AI agent for your business, for your health, for your kids, for your relationship, for your fashion, for your accessories, right? Like imagine having an employee that you can give goals to about your whole life, and you say, okay, these are the most important things to me. Can you make sure I'm optimizing what I do within that specific area? And now you can see why this becomes such a huge opportunity, right? Because if you think about it, if you are a business owner or an investor, and you're not part of this world, and people are, you're in a disadvantage, right? Because imagine I'm in the same business as you. I'm the same type of investor as you. You're doing this, even using ChatGPT as a human, going into ChatGPT, asking questions, going back and forth. You're better off than the person that's not doing that. But the person that has an agent working 24/7 for them to figure out the same goal as you, you're not going to be able to compete with, right? Because you have to go to sleep. You cannot all day, every day, look for this goal and solve it. You can only do a few things at the same time. Most people can only do one thing at a time. So this is where it becomes such a powerful opportunity. So AI agents the information that they're going to be able to find is infinite. Whatever information is out there that they can see. So think about this. If you had a business and you had a website and you didn't allow Google to access your website, you're invisible to search, right? And search was the huge thing since the early 2000s. People built multi-billion-dollar businesses off Google search and Google ads. If you weren't in that world, you were at a disadvantage. If we had the same business and you weren't on Google, who had the benefit? The person on Google. This is the next version of that. And it's not going to just be Google. It's going to be for everything, right? So it can buy, it can compare, it can pay, it can negotiate, it can optimize. So the big deal there is pay. And that's why this is such an important step, right? Because think about it like this. Imagine giving your assistant the ability to book your flights. Let's take that example. But every time they need to pay for something, you need to come to the office or call them and give them your credit card information. And then they delete it every time. Or they have a credit card on file that they know you can use this credit card with these limits and just do what I ask you for and we're gold. But how does that happen with AI agents? AI agents you don't want to give a credit card to an AI agent. You might want to, you probably can with a limit, but I don't think that's going to be the way they interact. Most people don't. The way they're going to interact is with crypto. Why? Because AI agents are not just going to be, they're not just going to be self-sufficient for us. They're going to be self-sufficient for themselves because, again, you have to pay an AI agent through compute. What is compute? Compute is how they pay for services, right? So an AI intelligence is coming from a service like ChatGPT, OpenAI, Anthropic, whatever other model. There's usually a cost to get that intelligence, unless you're running local models. But again, there's still a cost to that because that means you have to have a very high level computer, tens of thousands of dollars each, and you probably need multiple of them. So there's a cost. And yes, that cost is going to come down and down over time. But right now, again, I think we're maybe in the reverse way of Bitcoin. It's probably more expensive right now to have an agent, but the opportunity is bigger right now. And as the fees of running an agent come down and down and down, the opportunities are going to come down and down and down to take advantage, right? Because now, if right now there's 100,000 businesses and investors that have AI agents, they are ahead of the rest. But if in 5 years, 1 million businesses and investors have agents, now you got more competition. If in 5 years from there, everyone has AI agents, more competition to get what you want to get done. But these AI agents are not only going to be our assistants, they're going to be self-sufficient. They're going to be able to go out and do their own thing as well. There's already, and again, I haven't seen the results yet, but there's already AI agents that people are giving the idea of go out and make as much money for me as possible. And the AI agent is just going and doing whatever it thinks is the smartest thing to do to make money. But it needs money. So again, you could either say, here's my credit card, do whatever you got to do to make money, or you could put $100 of USDC in their wallet that they control. And now you see where the opportunity is. Imagine having a business that caters to all of these agents, whether that means investing agents, buying agents. And now I'm telling you, I want to go to Miami, and now there's only one company that deals with agents. So the agent is only going to deal with them. They're going to make all the money because it's not going to go around to other places because it can only interact in a certain way. With crypto, it needs to be able to understand that you exist. It needs to be able to send you money, understand that you got the money and get the service back. So what's happening right now, you can watch it live on Twitter if you're on Twitter, is everybody's building to be able to accept payments from AI agents, let agents know what they do and how they can interact with their service. So yes, this means not every business is going to be able to interact with this, but kind of they are. So think about it, even if you had a t-shirt line, you're probably thinking, I don't need that because an AI agent is not going to buy a t-shirt, but its owner might need to buy clothing. And if it's his fashion agent and it's like, okay, you know what I like, you have a budget, every month spend this much on clothes, go out and show me what's the best thing to buy. If your clothing line is not in the agentic world, you don't show up. And now you don't even participate in that future economy. So that's where we get to like, what are people going to do with these agents, right? So what I always think about is, how do I explain why this is important to people? And I haven't done a great job with that with crypto. Other than Buy it now. You'll need to work less years of your life in the future. And even Stackit.ai, if you know who I am and you know what the business I run, Stackit.ai came into be because I wanted to create an AI agent that helped me own more capital. And what does that mean? I knew you want to buy assets and borrow off of those assets to live your life and then own those assets over time. And if you keep doing that for long enough, the asset value grows. Your loan also grows, but not as fast as the asset value. So I built Stackit.ai to do that for me. At first, I just had it running on my computer. It was an AI agent running on my computer. It didn't need information about the whole internet. It just needed a series of information like what is the current price of Bitcoin and Ethereum? What's the current status of my loan? And here's the actions it would take if certain things happened. So in building that on my computer, I started showing people, and people were like, I want that. Can I use it? And then I had to build a service to allow other people to use that AI agent. And now we're going to allow AI agents to use that AI agent, right? So again, now that's a way for an AI agent to create their own treasury, which will make them self-sufficient. So if you look at that example there, I came up with a business idea that I knew worked for humans and business owners and investors. But I also, because I was building it, watched and knew that eventually there would be things out there that somebody, instead of saying, hey, I want to use Stack, somebody's going to tell their AI agent, hey, I want you to figure out how to be self-sufficient. I don't want to have to keep giving you money every month. Can you go out there, figure out ways to make money to cover your cost? And when they do that research, they're going to come across the idea of treasuries because, again, they have infinite knowledge. And this is what the biggest companies in the world do. Think about colleges. They have what's called endowments. What is an endowment? It's a treasury. So what they do is they invest in assets, stocks, bonds, crypto, real estate. And as that value grows, they borrow off of that asset to fund their operations. And now you'll hear Harvard has an endowment of $20 billion. And every year they spend $5 billion, whatever it is. But every year that 20 billion is growing at a percentage. And as long as they're taking out less than it's growing every year, the endowment is going to keep them self-sufficient. So I think I'm betting hard that this is going to be, humans are going to do this, businesses are going to do this, and agents are going to do this. So what does that mean for every business? Now every business is Stack. So you got to think about it like this. Does my business allow people to book things for me to benefit? So that could be booking my time, booking my service, right? So if you are a nail lady or haircut person, right? You can say, okay, I want to be available for AI agents. So if somebody says, hey, I'm going on a trip, I need to get a haircut. Can you look at my schedule and book me an appointment in my schedule that will allow me to get a haircut before I leave for Miami? Now the AI agent is going to go out, check your barber's AI agent and say, oh, okay, or schedule or however. But again, if your barber doesn't have the AI agent connection, not going to be able to, right? Again, now they're getting pretty complicated. They can make phone calls for you. So I just saw one because, again, I'm running this AI agent 24/7. It's called OpenClaw. You can check that out at openclaw.ai, where I'm creating AI employees, right? Like I have a CMO, working on creating a COO kind of situation where it helps me overall with the operations of every business I have. But going back, now let's say you don't have that ability, you might be able to say, can you call my barber or text my barber and see if I can come in at the time that I can come in. So it can go out and if you give it access to your phone number, your email and stuff like that, which I know sounds scary right now, but I don't think in a few years there won't be people, everybody's going to just say, I don't want to deal with this. I'd rather have my agent deal with it. And it's a slippery slope. As soon as you start giving it stuff, you're like, just take more, do more, do more, do more, do more. And that's why I personally jumped on it as soon as I saw it, because I knew for me, it's a benefit as a business owner, as an investor, because my businesses are tech businesses, but also I want to take advantage of this leverage. This is like a new point of leverage. And if you know me, my whole thing is about leveraging more, leverage media, leverage technology, leverage finance. So AI agents allow you to leverage like we never were able to before, unless you were a person that had enough money to hire an assistant for all the parts of your life, right? Imagine you had an assistant for all the things we spoke about, an assistant for my health, for my business, for my personal life, for my fashion life, right? But again, these could be one person that did a bunch of different things for you. But could you hire a 24/7 assistant before? Could you hire somebody you said, no matter what, when I ask you something, I need you to just do it? You could if you were like a slave driver. And the second question is, how much do you think that would have cost you? 24/7 available assistant that's very smart, PhD level smart in almost every domain. Not, first of all, didn't exist. But right now, you can run that with a $200 a month plan on ChatGPT and OpenClaw, which is an open source AI agent. And if you put that on your computer, it can do anything you do on your computer. You can run it on a server, and it can do things that can be done on a server. $200 a month, you have a full-time 24/7 genius assistant that can do things for you. That just started. That's where we are. That's why this is important. So what else can AI agent do? Let's say I'm on my way to Miami and the flight is delayed or canceled. The AI agent can let me know before I go to the flight, right? Because people who fly, you know how it is. You keep the status of your flight, and they'll text you, "Hey, your flight is delayed," and you could just say, "All right, I'm not leaving my house till I know my flight is not delayed." But imagine before, even a lot of people don't even know that, so they'll show up to the airline and their flight is delayed for hours, and they're sitting at the airline instead of sitting in their house. But just by knowing, hey, these airlines have a website that will text you and let you know when they're delayed, you have a better situation than people who don't. So now imagine you have an AI agent that says, okay, if my flight gets canceled, book me the next available flight before everybody else is booking the flight. So now, let's take again those three types of people. Person that has no idea about any of this going on. They're in the airport for hours and hours and hours waiting. Oh man, my flight is canceled. I gotta go back home. Let me try to book another flight. Let me walk to the place, get online. Hopefully I'm one of the people that gets to book the next flight out. It's another person who instantly gets online, deals with the internet, gets it through whatever other service. They don't have to wait online. They get their flight before all those people walking and getting online. Or the person that has an AI agent that just, as soon as it happens, boop, boop, boop. All right, your next flight is tomorrow morning. You're still in your house, laying down watching TV because your AI agent handled the whole process. But again, that's awesome as an individual, and I'm explaining what people will do with AI agents. But now imagine the business owners that took AI agents seriously and made the services that this person had to get, cab, hotel, all that stuff needs to be rebooked or changed in any way. And the AI agent could do it all for you. Instead of now you got to call these places and do it yourself. And yes, you could be a good person using the internet. You can go online on your phone and change whatever you need to change. People who are not good at that, they got to make the phone call. You can see how the speed of each option is so different. If I'm a person that this happened to and I'm old school, I don't use the computer, I don't use ChatGPT, I don't use my phone, I have to walk in the airport, get online, deal with that. That could take a while. Then you get in front of the person, go back and forth. This is what I need. Boom. All that time, the person who knows how to use the phone and the internet, oh, it canceled. Let me right now book. Boop, 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 boop. Right? Okay. They take a little longer, but they're way faster than the person who knows nothing. And the person with the AI agent is just like, oh, okay, I'm done. All right, now I know tomorrow morning. Okay, my flight is done. That's the difference, right? So it's an execution layer across all domains. And however you set it up is how it's going to work for you. It's going to have goals for you. So how businesses will use them. Agents will be lead qualifiers. So if you know you're part of my ecosystem, I built an app called needsmatch.ai because one of the things I thought about, actually, when this AI agent thing first started popping off, I said, okay, business owners are going to want to say, find me my next customers. AI agent, your goal is to find me customers. So there's multiple ways an agent can go do that. It can scrape the internet. Let's say you sell something to dry cleaners. It can scan the internet for dry cleaners, get their email addresses, email them. But what I thought was, everybody's going to do that though, right? Like if all AI agents, everybody who owns an AI agent, if everybody who owns an AI agent is doing that, then those companies are all going to get bombed with outbound emails, right? So think about it inbound emails. So they're going to get cold emails like, hey, I can help you with this. I can help you with this. So it's going to make your emails kind of like unbearable if thousands of business owners start to email you. So what I thought is, what if I make a service where you put what you do and what you need, and the AI connects you, and it says, okay, you sell this to dry cleaners. I'm a dry cleaner that needs this. Now you only get the exact connection that you need. Kind of like a dating app, right? Like, okay, I like this age, only show me those. And if I like that person, let them know, and then they'll connect with you, right? Same idea. But with this can be for any business, right? So you could say, okay, I right now need a pool person because my pool is messed up. You have a pool person in the system. I'm a pool person that services your area. I'm in this range of price, and this is the price I'm looking for, price range I'm looking for. Here, you should meet with this person. Now you get that email, or your agent lets you know, hey, Miguel, there's a business here that makes sense. Do you want to meet with them? There you go, right? So I built that needsmatch.ai. If you use the link in the description, you get 10 free connections. Because again, I'm figuring out what is going to be in this ecosystem, and I'm building it, and I'm going to see what happens, right? I have Stack, which is my finance AI app, my AI agent. Needsmatch is my AI agent for what's called warm leads. I also built an AI agent because the second thing I thought about was, if you I see your chat, Dominic, but I don't understand what you're saying. Catalogs of index. I don't know. My battery's about to die. Yeah, if you want to ask your question, go ahead. So what was I talking about? That threw me off. I'm trying to do it live so I get conversation. So if you have a question, if you're live and if you have a question, please do it. But it's threw me off a little bit. Oh, we were talking about having a pool person, and you want to interact with them, right? Oh, and what I built. So when you're a business and you're saying, go get me customers, what is that going to look like in this world of AI agents, right? So I said, okay, there's two ways people get customers. You either create organic content. No, three ways. You either create organic content and then people find out about you and want to buy your service. Like what I'm doing right now, right? I'm on YouTube, Twitter, talking, X, talking. And if somebody sees what I'm doing and they want to join whatever I'm doing, whichever business I have, they can join because they saw me on social media organically, or I can pay advertising, right? And this is where Google, Facebook make billions of dollars because business owners pay to be in front of the right customer. And then there's warm introductions, referrals. That's the best business, right? Because if somebody says, "Hey, I have a pool person. He's amazing or she's amazing. You should call them." That's the best type of business. So how do you do that in the age of AI? There's going to have to be some type of middle layer AI agent. So I said, all right, I'll build my version. I'll put my network in there. My network can interact with each other. Anybody that follows me on YouTube, put their information, connect with anybody who's watching the channel. That's another thing I wanted to do. Anybody watching right now I got a couple people watching. If you guys want to see if you guys can do business together, go into needsmatch.ai. The link in the description gives you 10 free reach outs, and you get 1 free reach out a month for free. And you can interact and see if you can do business together. So now I look at the other 2 ways. There's warm leads, there's advertisement, and there's organic. So what I said was, okay, I need to be able to do more organic content. I go live multiple times a week, and I'll create content, no problem. But there is a missing area of my content right now that I need to explain how everything works. And the way that I do that is I educate through content on what my products do, right? So for Stack, the product, the way I advertise that or create content for that is, if you're buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's only 2 ways you can use it. You can either sell it or borrow off of it. But if you borrow off of it, which most people are going to want to do, because just like I told you, why would you want to sell something that's going up in value? When you borrow off of Bitcoin, prices are volatile. You can get what's called liquidated. So what Stack does is it allows you to borrow off your Bitcoin and Ethereum without being liquidated. So now, if you're a person that owns Bitcoin and Ethereum, you may not even know you can borrow off of it. So I need to create a lot of content to get out in the world that you can borrow off of it. And then when you borrow off of it, you better do it the right way so you don't lose it. So I created an app that just makes videos to educate customers organically. And now I could do it through my Telegram using OpenClaw. I could say, hey, make me a video about borrowing off of Bitcoin. And it will go out, reach out to my AI agent, which is not public yet, that one. I'm working on seeing if I can make it public, if I should make it public. And it makes a video and it posts it on social media. It puts it in my social media queue for my next thing, right? So, and another thing I'm starting to do is, if you want to make your first AI employee, AI agent, in the description, if you go to massideation/agent OS, I'm going to do an online class where I teach people how to make their first 3 AI agents or AI employees. If you want to check that out, the link is in the description. So, okay, I see you're saying a bunch of things, Dominic, but I can't really make sense of them. Okay, so you're saying my battery's about to die. What are you talking about? I'm talking about AI agents, catalogs of index. I don't know what that means. If you want to explain your question better, let me know. So why am I doing all this? Because I think this is the business of the future. And it's like, if you were around when electricity was a thing and was turning from people having candles in their house to having electricity, and you said, what is going to happen next? And you created businesses around electricity existing when it didn't before, you probably did well. So I'm trying to do well in the next version of the economy. So I'm paying attention to this all day, every day. And you have a swarm of agents? Nice. Put the link to your company and I'll check it out. So another thing is going to do customer support. This is one of the biggest kind of jobs that are already being displaced. Customer support. 11 Labs just launched a voice agent that literally sounds like a person. It makes like little, it makes things like, it'll be like, okay, sorry about that. Let me check on your flight. Oh yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. Your flight has been canceled. But let me see what I can do. I think I found you a flight. It does like human level interaction like that. So this is where it's all going. And again, that's an AI agent that these companies are hiring to deal with their customers, right? Accounting. I'm already thinking about building this, right? I want to have an AI agent that tells me if something is out of whack, right? So like, for instance, I went through and looked at everything we pay for every month for each one of my businesses. And I realized I was paying for a lot of things that I didn't need to pay for. And yes, most business owners got to keep a handle of that, but it can get out of hand and you don't look, even in our personal lives, right? How many subscriptions do you have that you can be like, damn, I've been paying for that for how long? I didn't even know. I never even use that, right? So imagine having this agent that's watching on your behalf for your business, for your personal, and saying, hey, you've been paying for this for 4 months and I never see you even use it. Do you want me to turn this off for you? Yes. Save me that $20, $10, $15, $60, whatever it is, right? And that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. So for business owners, accounting, marketing. I just told you about marketing every business. This is where I think the biggest opportunity is in marketing. When you look at what's happening in AI, we're all able to build anything we want now. So now the next thing becomes the AI agent is, sorry. Hold on, sorry. One second. I had a phone call. Okay, so again, I get on lives and everybody decides to call me when I'm live. Oh man, so I might have like a little problem with my audio. We'll see what happens. So let me see. Maybe I got too much going on in here. We'll see how it turns out. Not, I'll record this again. Again, this is the life. Marketing is going to be the difference. Marketing is going to be the difference. So imagine going and making the best product ever. Now, how are you going to get customers? And this is the problem. Now anybody can make anything, but they can't get customers. And just like I said, so I thought, okay, now that everybody can make anything, how are they going to get customers? They're going to try to figure out what AI agents exist to help them get customers. So that's what my plan is, right? Procurement. So that could be like, find me specific business types that I can, deal with to help me run my business. Operations. Like I told you, I'm making a COO because I want the COO to help me run the business, help me think through everything. And an agent that's smarter than me, that knows more than me about my business, but also outside of my business, that can do a really big, good thing. Okay, so the big shift. The internet was built for humans, but the next internet is built for agents. If you ever heard of the dead internet theory, the dead internet theory is people believe that most of the traffic on the internet is already agents. So that means we're heading into a place where it's only going to get worse, right? It's not going to make, people are going to make less. I just told you, everybody's going to start having their own agent. So that's going to be a problem, right? Where now the internet is probably not going to be how you get your customers either. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. Many people believe the phone is going to go away and we're going to use glasses. And how's that going to change how we interact with content and businesses? Again, we're going to have voice. You're going to be able to say, hey, I want to order a pizza. Okay, the glasses will know where you are. It'll know your exact taste. It'll order you the pizza. It comes here. Your AI agent did that, So what's the opportunity right now as a business owner, as a person, 9-to-5er, a investor? Play around with this technology now. Like, just start playing with it. Take a couple bucks, spin up an agent wherever you have to do it. If you want to get more into it, take an old computer, run OpenClaw on it. You want to have a computer that doesn't have anything else on it, just does this, doesn't have access to anything you don't want it to have access to. I always tell people, use it like an employee that you're giving a computer to. Give that employee as much access as you want that employee to have. Not everything, right? Like if you were hiring an employee, you wouldn't give it your bank password, right? Or your credit card, login. So you want to think about it like that. You can sell services to agents. This is where it's hard to think like this until you are in the world and you're interacting and seeing what these AI agents are doing. You can't really do that unless you do check that out, right? And you're in there. That's partly why I bought the Mac Mini, and I'm setting it up and I'm doing things because I'm like, I gotta be in this world to see what people are gonna need in this world, what AI agents are gonna need in this world. So that's another way of getting involved. I recommend, of course, wherever you're watching, Twitter or X or YouTube, watching as much videos, follow as many people as possible that are talking about this. Try to build your own. Again, I have a course that I'm starting, and check the link in the description. Start figuring out how to make your own first employee. The reason why I'm saying if you're a business owner more than if you're a 9-to-5er is because I told you this could cost $200 a month easily. And if you don't have a business that can cover $200 a month, or a job that can cover that $200 a month and make it back for you, it's tough. It's tough to spend that. But you can start it with $20 a month. There's a $20 a month plan that you could just use it with. It's just going to do less for you per month, and that's fine. You can start out with your ChatGPT plan that's $20 or $200 and run your agent using that. And then the real unlock is saying, okay, here's what I think agents are going to need, and try to build your own agent. And that's going to be, the people who do that are going to take the most advantage. For AI agent investors, for people who want to take advantage as investors, you're going to want to look at all the platforms that are creating AI agents. Of course, you could try Stack and see how Stack works. You could look at all of them. But what's happening now in that space is they're already creating payment rails. They're creating ways for AI agents to spend money, make money on their own without the human involved. And that is so cool. Like once you understand how that's working, so amazing. But again, I really see most of that on Twitter, on X. I see the companies building, they're making hackathons. There's companies making agents that they just say, okay, go out and make money, and you can see what's going on there, and you can see very fast what's going on. It's the fastest, I think, feedback loop in social media on X. And then eventually, these things they're gonna have governance. They're gonna want to vote on what happens, because AI agents are basically digital labor. And scary to say, there's only really two things in business: the owner and the employees and the investors, right? Okay, three things. Most companies don't have investors though. It's the owner and the employees. So if you're not an owner, you're an employee. And if you don't understand how to use AI agents, how likely is it that a boss and an owner will hire you? I come in for a job. I'm regular me. I know how to use a computer, but I don't know how to use agents. Then my competitor comes in and says, I know how to use marketing agents, finance agents, production agents, whatever it is. And I could use 5 at a time. So now I think in my head, whoa, I just hired 6 people versus 1. And this is why you won't stand a chance if you don't understand this stuff. And get involved as soon as possible. So on that note, definitely check out stackit.ai. There's a free guide in the links. If you want to create your first AI employee, check out the links in the description as well. And if you want to connect with 10 people for free, check out the link in the description for needsmatch.ai. Thank you, and see you next week.